I just want to do a quick video here. Removing these lewmar ocean hatches. You can see the first one I've got here. And I don't know what that was bedded down with, but there was no prying it up. So the way I got it off was I took a drill, tiny little drill, and you can see I kind of came in from this way and drilled the pilot hole as close as I could, and you know, that's going to get filled in anyways. And then the way I'm doing it is using a heated wire. And I have this stuff called nichrome. Looks like nichrome 60. This, I already had this, so I didn't buy this specifically for this job, but it's a high resistance wire. And what you do is you cut a piece. You know, I've got kind of wrapped around a wrench, and then I've got the other portion of it. So what's that? I don't know, maybe 1.5 feet long. It's actually kind of long, but I'll show you why you want it a little long, because you're going to basically use it as a saw. And what I've got here, what's providing the power, is a DC power supply, and these are pretty inexpensive. You can get these for 50, 60 bucks on Amazon. This is just a, I think it's a 10 amp or 5 amp, I don't know. That's plenty of power to run this. And right now I've got the voltage set to about 20 volts, and you got to fiddle with it a little bit. And as soon as you clip these leads, which are just, you know, positive and negative. I don't have the negative hooked up yet, but the negative's right here. And they're just banana plug leads with alligator clips on them. As soon as you clip these in, that wire gets smoking hot. Enough that you can kind of burn it a little bit. So what I found the best method was to take a screwdriver, and once you get started sawing it, you take the screwdriver and stick it in there, just pry it up just as a wedge, just so that the wire is cutting the caulking, 5200 or whatever you've got in there, instead of trying to just muscle through the friction between the aluminum and the silicone, or the caulking and the wood. So what I found was, so as soon as I apply a current to this, the amps are going to go up, and I think it's about 3 amps. You can calculate this resistance wire's got, I'm sure you can go online and figure it out, or you just kind of play with it. You want to keep your hands clear of the wire. Now the wire works in between the leads, right? So you can see I've got the lead hooked right at the end of this. You know, it ends up being about there. So the only part that's heated is between here and the other lead. So this part doesn't get hot, so you can hold on to this. But everything else gets hot. And as you saw through, obviously the heat gets absorbed by the aluminum. So the part you're using as a saw ends up getting cooled off pretty quick, which means that, you know, this part of the wire that you're not using very much gets really hot. So as you move that wire, and it'll start smoking as you go in there, but you know, it is what it is. I found a couple techniques that help. If you hold the wire up versus down, so if you hold the wire down, now on my boat, what's going to happen is you're going to start melting into this, or not melting in, but burning this teak here, which I don't want to do. So I kind of seesaw it with a little bit of motion up, and then pulling it this way, so that it's basically trying to bear up against the aluminum. And you know, it probably took me 5 minutes to go all the way around. I broke the wire a couple times. I had to redo the wire, but the wire is pretty inexpensive. But let me tell you, it works sweet. So let me see if I can set this up for a video. Do the best I can here one-handed, and see what I can do. I need 2 hands for the wire. Alright, you kind of get set up here. Hopefully I'm not blocking the camera. You want to keep the wires separate. If that hot wire touches your lead, it'll melt, which I've already done a couple times. So my procedure is to kind of clip that on, clip this on, try to get them out of the way, and then hit the power supply and quickly grab the wrenches, because it gets hot pretty fast. There we go. And then just using it like a saw. And I don't know what's on there, but it was tenacious. So this is a lot easier than trying to run some knife in there or something else. Smokes up a little bit, but so that's the deal. And I probably got 6 inches here just in about 20 seconds. And the thing I found that helps is to kind of keep moving. See, if you stop and slow down, it really starts to smoke. And just the long strokes help the wire get some heat back into it. So, anyway, I'm running 20 volts on this length wire, which between the two leads is probably 18 inches, and I'm pulling about 3 amps of power from that power supply. And, just simple as that, and you just work your way around, trying not to slow down or stop, and also trying not to hit the hot wire on anything you don't want to burn, because it'll definitely burn you. I don't know how many degrees it is, but you'll probably break the wire a couple times, at least I have, especially kind of going around the screw holes. If it catches, it's not very strong, but I don't think the wire is very expensive at all. So now that I've gotten that far, I'm going to turn off the power supply. Once you turn it off, that wire goes off in no time. And then I'm going to get my screwdriver kind of wedged in there just to help peel it off a little bit. Like I said, get your hands ready. As soon as you hit the button on the power supply, that wire gets hot. Keep going. Up. And if you break the wire, obviously the circuit gets broken. So that wire lasted from the last patch. So anyways, technique works pretty good.